the particles in state 1 are inheriting the time limit or the age limit of the particles from state 0. So we can even give our own particles in this current state their own age limit. If I look under the setters, I'll pull in a set particle age limit, and I'll execute that into the execute input of the execute port. And I'm going to randomize the age limit. I'll look under my modifiers and choose to randomize around a range. And I'll give these particles a lifetime of, let's say, between, we don't want it animated, between about 0.5 and 0.8 seconds. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. I'm getting pretty good splash, and it's dying out pretty quickly after that. I might want to extend the life a little bit more, so I'll give it between a life of 0.7 and say 1.1. That might be a little high. I'll keep the window open just to see what happens. No, I think that'll work. What we want to do next is set up the ability for us to shade the particles in state 1. And if you remember what we did to the particles in state 0, we identified them as having a segment type shape. Well, we're also using strands in the spawn state, so we also need to define their shape as segment. Later on, what we're going to need to do is define how the strands in each state are long or thick. So we'll be able to control that, but we're going to have to build additional functionality into our ice graph. So I'm going to define a shape for my particles in state 1 by looking up my setters, set a particle shape, and built into the shape compound, I can use the pull down and define it as segment. Okay, so you won't really see anything different. We'll have the same effect in our viewport. You'll notice that at the moment, if I was to actually just play a little bit more, let me just kind of find a good frame here. Maybe like right here. You still don't see the particles when you render them. They're very faint, and so that's something that needs to be controlled. So that's where we're going next.